No, we're on. Now.
Okay, we're gonna start Yud Gimel and Bais, Tanur Rabbanan. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines from the bottom. Tanur Rabbanan, start in the Braisa. It says Lahabdil ben HaKedesh ben HaChol. To distinguish between what's holy and what's mundane. We're talking about right after the sons of Aaron die. He passed away, so Hashem gives us the laws of going into the temple after having drank wine. And then it continues and it says, this verse, to distinguish between holy and mundane. Eilu damin ve'erkin v'charamis ve'ekdeshus. Probably missing something from the corrections. No, hadamin, that's all it says. Okay, these are the types of consecrations a person can dedicate something to the temple. Yid Gimel and Bais, yeah. That's the first thing. That's Bein HaKodesh and Bein HaChol, because some of them become consecrated and some of them don't. So you have to distinguish which one is really a donation to the temple or not. Damim is when someone pledges someone's value. Erikin is also someone's value, but it's based on his age, not on his cost as a slave. Charamin is a gift to the Kayanim, and Nekdeshus is a gift to the temple. Bein HaTamei u'Bein HaTar. What does it mean? We're continuing the pasuk here, so these are the words. Bein HaKodesh, Bein HaChol, Bein HaTamei, Bein HaTar. It would be in quotes, and probably in the Gemara. Eilu Tmeis Utaris. This is to distinguish between what's Tami and Tar. Ulahairis, and to rule. Zuhira, this is to Paskin. Eskalachukim Eilu. No, Eskalachukim, all these laws. Eilu Midrashas. These are the drashas that we get from Psukim. Now, what we're saying here is that all of these teachings, someone that has drank wine is not allowed to make a ruling on. Asher Diber Hashem, that Hashem spoke, Zu Halacha. This is talking about Halacha. You can't teach Halacha. Or Zu Halacha l'Moshe Sinai, that probably. This is, Rashi mentions that. This is the Halacha, the tradition. The Ad Moshe was given over to Moshe Zet Talmud. Just talking about the deriving one thing from another, the way that the Gemara does. I think it says that Moshe Rabbeinu, originally Hashem didn't give the Pupulim to the Yidden, all of the ins and outs of all of this. He gave it to Moshe. Moshe was very generous and he gave it to us. He taught us all the extras. So Yachal Afa Mishnah, maybe someone that has drank wine cannot even teach Mishnah. Talmud Leimer Lahiris says, no, we're talking about only to Paskin. You're not allowed to paskin from the Mishnah. The Mishnah doesn't tell you all the ins and outs. You're going to paskin from the Mishnah, you'll make mistakes. All the time the Mishnah says, it says it's exactly the opposite or something. So you're allowed to teach Mishnah even if you drink wine. Rabbi Yehuda says that no, really maybe you can, maybe there's a problem with teaching Talmud also. Talmud Lahiris. It says no. Only to Paskin. Talmud you're allowed to teach. So Rabbi Yehuda is lenient. According to whom does it go? What it's started in a Bais, Yotza Sheretz Tamei, it's Radei Atar, Sheshesu Yayin, Mayrim Be'ameira. We have a Bais. It says that an impure Sheretz, or a frog that is pure, those, to say that one of those 8 shratzim is impure, and that a frog is pure, even someone that drank wine is allowed to rule on that. So who does that go according to? Gemara says, name Rabbi Yehuda. It must be Rabbi Yehuda who says that someone that drank wine is allowed to teach Talmud. Well, Rabbanan, it's not the rabbis, because the rabbis would forbid that. Gemara says, I feel Tamer Rabbanan. No, could be the Rabbanan. This is such a simple law that even a one-day student in the yeshiva would already know that. So they would call the Gemara talks about a bar beirav. Bar beirav chad yaima. Someone.
I'm sorry, what we said? A frog is tamei also. No,
a frog is tamei.
It's never tamei. Right. I didn't know that.
So because it's such a simple thing to say that gefilte fish is kosher, so you don't have to. That's not a shaila. So even someone that drank wine can paskin about that, right? That's the first thing. Amar Rav. Rav says halacha Rabbi Yehuda. The halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda. That means that a teacher that drank wine is allowed to teach Talmud. The Gemara asks for Rav Leimukam Amar Miyem Tabla Chavri Mishum Shichros. The problem is
Please bring like some wine tomorrow.
demonstrations. You do not want to get into the demonstrations. You'll see shortly. Stop at the wine. It's only going to get worse.
I went through it.
Okay, so Rav would not teach after the holiday meal. He would have to wait till the next day. Shani Rav the Eily Meiri. Rav would paskin in his drushes. Says Menachem let him make up that he's not going to say any psak. Gemara says Kol heichad yasev Rav leisagile b'leira. It's impossible. When Rav would sit down, it's impossible that he wouldn't paskin. Everyone would come over and say, Rav, Rabbi, maybe they would say, I don't know, Rav or Rabbi. They'd say, what do I do here? What do I do there? What do I do?
When he does Rambam. Sit down and learn.
Like when he tries to do Rambam in the morning.
Okay. We have a Mishnah here. As a consolation for this Mishnah, it's easier than the next Mishnah. Okay. Yesh eichel achila achas. It's possible to have one bite, and that one bite is 4 sins. 4 chata. You have to bring 4 karbanos chatas, v'ashem echad, and 1 asham. Okay, what did he do wrong? So here we have the first thing is he's tamei. Okay, so that would only work if he ate something that's kodesh. But meanwhile, he's tamei. She'achal chelev, and he eats forbidden fat. So we have 2 issues already. Now that forbidden fat was left over from a carbon. So, and carbon has an allotted time that you're allowed to eat. It was after the expiration date of the carbon, which is about a day or 2 days. Mina mukdashin, and it was something that was kodesh. So that goes back to our tamei issue. And that's another issue as well. The other issue is that he was not allowed to eat from it. It's considered meila. That's our issue. That's where the asham comes in, because he had personal benefit from something that was sanctified. And it's b'yom kippurim, and it happens to be on Yom Kippur.
It's having a bad day.
So he really messed up on that one.
But he got so sick from it, he had no hana, and he was putter, Rahman putter.
There you go.
Just kidding.
Spoken like a true chassid.
I don't know.
Amen. Play the tape back.
The Meir says, Imaya Shabbos, if it was Shabbos, Yom Kippur's and Shabbos, it's you, and he carried it. The Gemara is going to ask, Yom Kippur, you're not allowed to carry either, but we'll see. It's Shabbos, and he carried it.
Isn't hypothetically if it was Shabbos?
If Yom Kippur fell on Shabbos. So, Chayav. He's going to be Chayav for carrying that as well. Amalei Yenim Menachem. They said that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about eating it, throwing in some other issues here.
Trying to make things worse.
The Gemara asks, Name Islay Reb Meir Sechal Alisser. Shall we say that Reb Meir holds that something that's prohibited can become prohibited more? We were calling it like stackable. That you can add a prohibition on another prohibition. Now, that would be like this. If someone has a non-kosher animal, let's say a horse, okay, and it dies without shechita, and someone eats it. So do we say that he ate not shechted horse, that it's nevela also, or do we say that it's horse? It's, if you say Yisr Chalal Isser, I'll say 1 second, it wasn't shechted either. You're going to throw over there another Isser onto it. But we don't say that. We say it's a non-kosher animal. We don't add it up like that. So do we, over here, it seems like we're adding Isurim onto Isurim, that there's another one and another one. How does it work like that? So the Gemara says, Nihi, although the Isser Chalal Isser, Leslie, that he does not hold of Isser Chalal Isser, but Isser Kol of Isser Ma'asav Isle. Certain types of Isurim, if they add anything, either to the person or to the type or to the or an extra prohibition onto it, then it will add.
Additional is certain, like nevela of a treif animal versus kaddish nevela or nicer. It's a very different type of Yisur.
Right. Yeah.
It's all different category.
Right. Look, eating treifa food on Yom Kippur is what we're talking about. He's eating chaylev on Yom Kippur, so is there an extra prohibition of eating on Yom Kippur? I mean, the food was treifa anyway.
It's Yom Kippur anyway.
And it's Yom Kippur anyway. So that we'll see how that works. Those are the examples of the things that do work. So it goes like this. Tar, if the person would have been pure, mikara la yasser ela b'chaylev, he only would have been forbidden to eat chaylev. So havale tami, now he's tami. But migu da aser b'chatichas ta'iras, he's prohibited from eating other foods. So he tastes beinam yisur ala the chaylev. Now we can't eat the chaylev either. So the chaylev is just thrown in as an inclusion into all the foods that he's not allowed to eat being tamei. So because the tumah falls on the other foods, so it's kailal, it includes the chaylev as well amongst all the other foods.
It's like eating a horse. The same horse example you gave. It's like if you ate it on Yom Kippur. So
Right.
then you're going to understand you would have two.
Very good. The chaylev mi kara la yaser ala ba'achila. The chaylev originally,
It's doing it to you.
yeah.
It's just unseat. I should go back under the camp.
I'm going to build a trophy show.
I have the other one downstairs for you.
The only thing I request is that when you understand Chassidus better, now that you're sitting here, you have to let me know.
First understand Chassidus in the first place.
Okay, so we're saying now chaylev was only prohibited to eat. You're allowed to use it for other things. It's forbidden. It's forbidden to eat chaylev. You could use it as a candle or something. So aktashay, when he consecrates it, migud isura da'ana. Now there's another prohibition here. You can't have a benefit from it. So Teisavei lagabi chaylev. Probably it's supposed to say isra achila. What does it say? Teisavei nam lagabi chaylev. So if now that prohibition also goes on this as well, on the chaylev, because everything else is becoming kodesh. Well, that's not the issue. It's not that everything else is becoming kodesh. The issue is that the chaylev itself is becoming more forbidden than it was originally. Vakati lehedyitu, but still, this is only prohibited to a regular person. Lehedyitu aser, aval legavaya shari, but you can still eat it as a korban, eat it with in holiness. Actually, not holiness. Probably what it means is you can put it on the mizbeach. So havali nicer. So it becomes nicer, and migudi taisif isur legabi gavaya taisif be legabi hedi. We added in more. It's not just people; it's more possibilities of the usage for this, and therefore it becomes prohibited. Chalala Yom Kippur. It's Yom Kippur, and migudi taisif be yisur legabi chol and taisif be legabi gavaya. Yom Kippur is kailal everything, because Yom Kippur you're not allowed to eat anything. So because the laws of Yom Kippur go on everything else, so that goes on this piece of chaylev that's also nicer. That's his tamei and all of that. Okay, and the Gemara asks, says we can throw in another prohibition here. The other prohibition is pigel. Pigel is when he says or thinks, possibly, at the time when he's offering the sacrifice, that he's going to eat or sprinkle some of the blood out of the allotted time. So the Gemara says, one second, if it's pigel, it can't be a kosher sacrifice, and then you don't have the laws of nicer. Nicer is when they have a kosher sacrifice that was left over too long, but pigel invalidates it. So if it's invalidated, then you don't have nicer. So the Gemara says, you can't have pigel and nicer in the same animal. The Gemara says, you can't have it in the same animal. We're going to come up with one scenario that we have a Gemara in Zvachim that says that this is a possibility. Why not? You can have it. There was pigel, but he brought up one of the limbs of the pigel onto the mizbeach. And as it starts to burn on the mizbeach, the paka pigulimine, the pigel goes off it. Havali nicer, and now it's left over too long. And the Mefarshim ask that it doesn't become nicer once it's on the mizbeach. But anyway, that's a problem. Kedamarula, like Ula says, Kaimitz Pigel Shel Gam Mizbeach Paka Bigulim Man of Havli Nicer. Ula discusses this. He says if you take a kaimitz is the fingerful, a fistful of the flour and oil, and that you have the wrong thoughts of how long you're going to take to eat it.
That like, whole kaimitz thing I never understood, because if you have a king with big hands versus a king with small hands, like just the kaimitz is whatever his hand is.
Yeah.
It's no measurement, really.
I think that's how it works.
It's a joke.
My hand like this, you get nothing in a kaimitz. Give somebody else. You gotta.
Yeah, but then we standardize it.
And the fact that you could be
Amalei Lugmav is a right previous. You have to drink a certain amount of the kiddush.
Incorrectly.
A certain amount of the kiddush is one cheekful. So.
And you can't have the tongue in you.
Cut it out.
Tongue in cheek.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Come on, wake up. You got
Catskills
more
is
coffee.
still summer.
Coffee, more coffee!
There's one summer weekend left. You can still get up there.
So the Gemara answers like this. Ula, that story of putting something on the Mizbeach and it becomes not pigel anymore because it started to get burnt by the Mizbeach, by the fire there, that doesn't take away the prohibition from the whole sacrifice. That would just be the prohibition. That would take off the pigel from that one item that was put on the Mizbeach. The Gemara says, over there, you're not going to get the halachas of pigel. You'll have the nicer, but where will you have the pigel back on the rest of the animals? So you'll have to be eating two kereisim, two different parts of the animal. One the part that went up, and one the part that stayed down. The Gemara asks for nicer pigel b'chadevele mishkachasla. Why can't you have it in the same limb? Look at this. Mishkachasla, you can have it, a scenario. You bring up one organ, one limb onto the altar. The palge anche al gabe mizbeach. Half of it is on the mizbeach. Upalge me'avroi, and half of it me'avroi the mizbeach. Half of it is off the mizbeach. So then it's going to be one aver, because you had half of it off. The part that's off is going to be pigel. The part that's on is we're assuming is going to be the nicer part. The hahuda mizbeach paka pigel v'havali nicer. The part that's on is not pigel, it's nicer. It's left over. Iberga blibna, right? Kedamarula. Kaimitz pigel shalam gam mizbeach paka bigulim men v'havali nicer. So it's only the leftovers. You have that prohibition, and the part that's off is going to be the pigel. And you eat that one limb, and you violate an extra one. Get an extra chata. So Malay, like, it's not how it works. You have to look at where is the majority of this limb. Ruba de Mizbeach. It's a Shadi le Mizbeach. If the majority is on the altar, it's considered on the altar. We're not going to divide it up like that. We're going to look at it exactly, which part is off, which part is on. We're going to say if it's majority on, it's on. And the whole thing is going to be on, and then there's going to be no pigel. So we're not going to look at it as a line, right? We're going to say that, look, majority's on. That part has the same status as the majority. Ruba Debray, if most of it is off the altar, so Shadi Lebray, so it's considered outside. So the Gemara says, oh, very interesting. Let's go back to Masechta B'chayres, and over there we had a shaila from Rami Bar Chama. Rami Bar Chama asked, if you have an animal that was giving birth, halfway in, halfway out, but one of the limb that's half out, that limb, the majority is out. So do I say that even though it's only half born, but the limb is half out, if I look at the smaller part of this, I can say that it's majority. I can say that limb is margin. Well, it's really half and half.
Well,
the
whole limb is out.
No.
But it's only a limb, so therefore it's
No, it's like this. Look, this is the animal. It's half in and half out. Now, if I look at this word inside, this is like, okay, this is the out. Okay? Right. The majority of this word is out.
Correct.
Okay. So what I do is I look at that one limb.
So that one limb is majority out.
That one limb is majority out. The majority is still half in.
Right.
So if I look at the limb, then I can say that it's considered out. And if you say